Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating story of resurgence in European football. We are looking at Aston Villa's absolutely remarkable return to the elite tier of the sport. We're going to trace this brilliant thread from their historical, record-breaking highs right through to their modern-day triumphs. We'll see exactly how they've rediscovered that championship DNA.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand where this club is right now, just listen to the words of manager Unai Emery. Trophies make sense of what we are doing. We are not going to stop. He dropped that quote right after Aston Villa's resounding 3-0 triumph over Freiburg in the 2026 Europa League final. And wow, talk about a statement of relentless ambition, right? It makes it completely clear that this victory isn't some final destination for the club. No, it's a launch pad.
But, it begs a massive question. How exactly did a club end a 30-year trophy drought to literally become kings of Europe? Before that incredible night against Freiburg, Villa's last major silverware was the League Cup, and that was all the way back in 1996. So to really grasp the magnitude of this 2026 win and the whole mentality behind it, we actually have to look backward. We need to examine the historical proof of their championship DNA to see how it laid the absolute foundation for the success we're seeing today.
Let's move to 1930 and see how this builds. We're stepping into a time machine back to the 1930-1931 season. This era serves as the ultimate benchmark for Aston Villa's historic attacking pedigree. It was, hands down, the most prolific scoring season in the club's entire history. They set a standard of aggressive, thrilling football that honestly remains a huge part of the club's soul even today.
128. Yep, 128. That is the massive number of league goals Aston Villa scored in just 42 matches that season. It stands as an absolute first division record. And to put that into perspective, when you consider the heavy leather balls, the muddy, torn-up pitches, and just the brutal physical demands of the game back then, putting the ball in the back of the net 128 times is just an astonishing display of sheer attacking dominance. Digging a little deeper into that record, we find another staggering figure, 49. Legendary striker Pongo Waring was single-handedly responsible for 49 of those goals, finishing as the league's top scorer. What's absolutely wild about this is that his phenomenal output completely overshadowed his teammate Eric Houghton, and Houghton had a highly impressive 30 goals of his own. Just imagine having two players score almost 80 goals between them in a single campaign. It's almost unheard of. To really give you a sense of the sheer terror this team struck into their opponents, just look at some of these scorelines. An absolute 7-0 demolition of Manchester United and a 4-0 thrashing of their local rivals, Birmingham City, right in their own stadium. When you contrast these incredible margins of victory against the tight, heavily tactical battles we see in the modern Premier League, it really shows you how staggeringly rare and special these historic feats truly are. All right, now we're going to fast forward exactly 50 years from that goal-scoring explosion to another absolutely crucial turning point, the 1980-1981 season. This was a true catalyst year. Over the summer of 1980, manager Saunders found himself with a highly talented but, somewhat inconsistent squad. He knew that to truly elevate his team into a title-winning unit, he had to strategically add some serious, proven firepower up front. Now, that ambition came with a hefty price tag. £500,000. At the time, £500,000 was a massive club record fee. Aston Villa spent this to sign 28-year-old striker Peter Withe from Newcastle United. It was a bold financial statement. They actually released fringe players to ensure financial discipline, all to bring in this specific high-impact target. Why? Because Withe already knew exactly what it took to win in the first division from his days at Nottingham Forest. And this brilliantly illustrates the strategic mindset of the club at the time. Manager Saunders famously described Peter Withe as the last piece in the jigsaw. This battle-hardened addition wasn't just some random, splashy, big-money signing. He was exactly the profile of player Aston Villa needed to push past their inconsistencies and mount a genuine, sustained challenge for the league title. Which brings our story right back to the present day, 2026. What we're seeing with Unai Emery's squad is the brilliant synthesis of this rich history. He's managed to combine that 1930s attacking flair with the sharp, calculated 1980s strategic squad building to create a modern winning formula. It's a formula built entirely on intense tactical grit and just relentless preparation on the training ground. A perfect example of this preparation is what fans are calling the MACP Masterclass. Austin McPhee, Villa's set-piece coach, implements an intense focus on minor details and highly deceptive tactics. They actually tested a specific deceptive corner kick routine against Liverpool in domestic play just days prior. Then, they unleashed that exact same deception in the Europa League final. It directly resulted in Youri Tielemans finding the space to smash home a ferocious volley for the spectacular opening goal against Freiburg. Talk about a master plan coming together. Now, what's really interesting about this is the raw grit it took behind the scenes. Look no further than goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez. The guy literally fractured a finger during the pre-match warm-ups for the final. But did he sit out? Not a chance. He played the entire match, proudly defending the net. He even joked later that every time he caught the ball, his broken finger went the other way. Ouch. But it's that exact stubborn willpower that drives champions. When you trace this century-long journey through these major touchpoints, it's like a giant puzzle coming together. From the 128-goal record in 1931 to the strategic title push in 1981, through the really frustrating drought following the 1996 League Cup, all the way to this 2026 Europa League glory, it becomes incredibly clear. This 2026 win isn't just a sudden arrival on the big stage. No, it is a fundamental return to their elite roots. So the crucial point is that this European victory instantly changes the stakes for the club moving forward. The elite horizon is set on chasing heavyweights like Manchester City and Arsenal in the Premier League. What you really need to take away from this is that by winning the Europa League, securing 5th place in the domestic table could actually earn them a highly coveted Champions League spot. It completely depends on how those final day results shake out. The pressure is immense, for sure. But the reward is astronomical. Which leaves us with this final, massive question to chew on. With their championship DNA rediscovered, a battle-hardened squad, and a manager who outright refuses to stop, can Aston Villa permanently disrupt the dominance of powerhouses like Arsenal and Manchester City? It's a compelling thought, right? One that could completely reshape the future landscape of European football. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on the incredible story continuing to unfold at Villa Park.